everyone, Tammie Alexander back again to do another recording for you all. Today is the day that I am definitely going to need this, my very calming cup of tea in my Rocket Raccoon mug. Because of course we all know the news that happened today. One of the strongest women that I've sort of come across, especially in her most outspoken treatment of Hollywood, has unfortunately passed away, who is of course Carrie Fisher. Most people will know her from Star Wars. I certainly do, being a bit of a massive nerd. However, she was also, for those who didn't know, she was also incredibly feministic and wildly so. She definitely refused to conform and everything like that. So it kind of brings me to the subject of today's talks. I was thinking of a subject to cover, and yeah, it kind of come up. Of course, stones of strong women. It's always been a subject of mine that I want to cover, and I guess now's my chance under not so brilliant circumstances. So today I'm going to be covering a couple of stones that are of either for promoting strength in women, or stones that are sacred to a particular goddess. So that's obviously very, very needed to be covered. So first of all, I have Amazonite. This is a very blurred out version of Russian Amazonite. It's actually a bit of a darker colour, and I also have some Chinese Amazonite. Amazonite obviously is one of the feldspar groups, therefore it actually has that iridescence that's found in all of those sort of members of that group. I know I've seen some really, really ugly microcline feldspar that hasn't, but that's ugly rocks. Anyway, Amazonite, obviously, it was originally named after the Amazon River, but then by default it kind of ended up also being associated with the Greek Amazons. So the strong women, those kind of warrior types, all of that. And as a result, one of the uses that has come forward with it is, of course, being for strong women, promoting strength in women, promoting that sort of nature within women. Secondly, I have one of my favourites, well, one that is actually becoming my favourite, is of course rose quartz. Now, rose quartz is actually rumoured to be coloured by the blood of, sorry, forgive me, by the blood of Freya. So in the Viking times, it was a stone that was sacred to Freya, and they worshipped, revered it as a symbol of her, and also used it to invoke the goddess herself. Secondly is of course, thirdly, is of course Carnelian. Now, unfortunately, this is a key ring because I am actually all like shit out of Carnelian tumblestones. Very sorry. Okay, but anyway, hey, it's Carnelian. So of course, Carnelian was rumoured to be coloured by the blood of Isis. So one that was sacred to the Egyptians and used in any sort of spell working bits and pieces used to invoke Isis. Now, of course, Carnelian is also very much a stone that is for boldness and courage and strength in women. I know I've talked about it a few times before, so I'm not going to regale you with all the details, but with the Carnelian and Amazonite together is very much like the two big stones of very strong women and very powerful women, women in business, everything like that. Next up is blue coral. Now, this, of course, you're not going to tell me it's not really a stone, and yes, it is generally dyed. However, it's blue coral. Blue coral was mostly found in the Philippines initially, and it's actually sacred to a goddess in the Philippines. She was a goddess of the sea, and you're going to have to forgive my pronunciation because I have never spoken Filipino before, but it's Diwata Dagat. And so she was apparently a goddess of the sea, and once again, the blue coral was used either in offerings or to invoke the goddess within your life, within your home. You would wear blue coral to invoke the goddess. Next up is blue lace agate. So I don't think my camera is actually picking up the laciness, a little bit. But blue lace agate is of course an absolutely stunning stone. but it was actually used in sort of early Scandinavia and Denmark as a stone for the Earth Mother. So it was one of those ones that was sort of sacred to Nerthus, the Earth Mother. Once again, my pronunciation is going to be terrible of that. Anyway, so yes, goddesses. Finally, of course, is, now this is like a big one, Selenite. This is, of course, one of my beautiful wands that I currently have up for sale. It's absolutely stunning, but before I start waxing lyrical about selenite, I better actually give you some information. Selenite is, of course, sacred to the Greek goddess Celine. So she was the night goddess, the moon goddess, everything like that. And selenite was one of the stones that was actually associated with her. And probably named after her, let's face it. Celine Selenite. Hey, I know some shit. Okay, lastly, I was actually, this is going to be a bit of a short one, sorry, but I'm actually going to do the goddesses in 2 parts, lest I bore you all shitless with tales of goddesses and the random shit that they came out with. So I actually have a question from one of my gorgeous friends and clients, and she was asking basically, bronzite, what's the deal? I'm attracted to it. So this is bronzite. Bronzite is absolutely stunning. Well, I think so. For a fairly random brown rock, it's got some gorgeous sort of chatoyance, little sparkly bits and pieces running through it. And bronzite's one of the best ones that I've found for like making decisions. Bronzite's one of the ones that is really good, especially if it's a fairly binary decision. Bronzite's one of the ones that you can go to for a bit of clarity on it and to really sort of make that snap decision that you need to for that time. Which actually really awesomely leads me into the fact that bronzite is one of the stones that I've included in my New Year's Eve grid. So I've of course constructed like this large grid to show you all. It's going to be up on my Facebook, probably just my Facebook. Oh no, Instagram. It's going to be up on my Instagram as well. And I'll have some details and bits and pieces like that, and of all the stones, and specifically why I've selected those stones for use in the grid. So if you're interested, that should be going up either the 31st or the 1st of January. Hey, it's for New Year's, right? So that finishes up for today. I will hopefully get some more recordings out to you very soon. It's going to be a bit sketchy over the next couple of weeks, but I'm going to hopefully pre-record some for you and then get them sorted out later on. But yeah, thank you very much for listening again. Bye.